Hello, I'm Aileen Anderson and I am a traditional rug hooker. My studio is Bear Creek. I love this craft. I came to it in the mid-90s at a quilt show of all things. I was walking around looking at the different booths, came around a corner and saw hooked rugs and completely lost my heart to them. I love folk art, and to me, the hooked rug is a wonderful way to be an untrained artist but yet express yourself through color, fabric, texture. And the craft is a great one to get into. Doesn't really require a lot of fancy equipment, so that you can kind of try it and see if it might be something for you. Also do things like spinning yarn, a little bit of weaving and knitting. Once it seems like you get into fiber, you just can't quit. One thing leads you to the other. But my heart stays with the hooked rugs. Over here we have a work that I call Firefly Annie. She has her cat Buster next to her and she's wearing red keds. The red keds actually have a place in my history. When I was young, I spent a lot of time going out with my father, and to keep me behaved, he bribed me with red keds. If I was good, I could have red keds, and I wanted those red keds. I also love to go out in the evenings and chase fireflies. We lived in South Mississippi, and the fireflies during the summer were just so thick. It was like the stars had fallen down out of the sky and were just twinkling underneath the trees in the evening. So that rug is very close to my heart. And over here I have my spinning wheel. I've been teaching myself how to spin yarn because I want to work that into my rugs. I have a couple of rugs over there, or mats as we call the very small ones, can be called mats instead of a rug. And those have a lot of my hand spun and hand dyed yarn in them. So I'm always looking for different ways to come up with my pictures, so to speak. Sometimes I'll take a photograph and I will work from that. I just go wherever the color or a sight takes me. Something will spur an idea for a design. It could be, like I said, a photograph. It could be my grandchild's refrigerator art. I might hook something that has an upside down cat with a butterfly on its paw, but my granddaughter did that. So it's all wonderful. It's all folk art. A lot of people feel like they have to be formally trained, and I don't disagree with formal training in the fine arts. I think that as many teachers as you can have and as much as you can expose yourself to the background of things and study it, I think it's all of benefit. But in the end, with folk art, you don't have to be finely trained, formally trained. It doesn't have to be perfect. I love that about folk art. We have a saying in rug hooking, if we have a boo-boo in it, so to speak, we'll say, oh, it's folk art. You don't have to worry about that. They're functional. They can be for the floor. They can be on the wall, like art. You could do, put them on a tote bag, carry it around. That's great advertising. I have a tote bag that I carry sometimes, and people will see it and they'll ask me, what is that? And I'll tell them, and I'll say, well, you should take a class from me. And I'll give them my card. So we always want people to appreciate and get into what we do. So I'm always looking for that opportunity to pick up a new student, get somebody else loving this and trying it. I have some childhood memories of my mother doing it. I know that people will come by my booth at the Pink Palace Craft Fair and say, oh, Aunt so-and-so did that, or I remember my mother doing that, or I have some old rugs. So it can be a family thing, it can be a generational thing, but it's just a wonderful way to relax and have fellowship with other people that enjoy the craft. I love to teach it so that my students can become my friends through the craft. There are some groups here in Memphis that we meet once a month and do it. So I'm hoping that you'll come out and see me at the craft festival this year. I'll be in the demonstrating tent.